The sun is rising, ready for another great day here in Munich at the IAA Mobility Show. And so far, it's been really cool. I've got some amazing innovations and bits of technology lined up, ready to share with you guys at home. So let's head inside and check out some cool stuff. This year, instead of the usual automotive show, the new format will focus on innovations and technologies from the entire mobility sector. And having spent the last 70 years in Frankfurt, we're now in Munich for a restart. Now, e-road bike and e-mountain bikes are more popular than ever before, and Fazua are one of the leading manufacturers of motors. And this caught my eye because it stands out because it's a very compact unit. And according to the stats here, the bottom bracket and the motor itself has a weight of 1.2 kilograms and a maximum torque output of 58 newton meters. And it's not very often you see such a sleek and minimalist combined unit, which will allow them to fit it into a variety of different types of bikes and frame shapes as well. And it's able to deliver 350 watts of power, and according to here, it has a 252 watt-hour capacity, which should be perfect for lots of urban or commuting bikes. When you hear the name Cannondale, you don't necessarily first think of urban and commuting bikes, but this is something Cannondale are working hard to change by using their 50 years experience in the cycle industry, starting with bikes such as this, the Tesoro Neo X1 Step Through. This is an urban and commuting style bike, and I think you'll agree it looks absolutely stunning in this colourway. So this is using the all-new Bosch smart system. So we've got the LED remote, we've got the kiosk display, and then we've got a very large capacity 750 watt-hour battery. Combined in with that, we've got the Bosch central drive unit providing 250 watts of assistance. Now this is a bike able to be ridden on-road and on some light off-road excursions. On the front, we've got some nice suspension forks, we've got some off-road tyres, we've got nice rugged mud guards. And a really cool feature I've seen is not only have we got built-in lights, we've also got daytime running lights. I mean, how cool is that? I think it's really good to see brands investing in areas of the cycle industry that they wouldn't previously have done. Look at the size of this battery. God, blooming hell. Now, if the range of your e-bike is one of your top priorities, this could very well be the battery for you. So it's a 1,440 watt-hour capacity battery, which, for those of you that know about battery capacity, is absolutely huge. And on the eco setting, it can provide up to 260 kilometers of range. I can't even remember the last time I rode that far. How cool is this? It's the Blitz e-scooter from Husqvarna. It has a range of about 40 kilometers, a 500 watt motor, and is limited to a maximum speed of 25 kilometers an hour. Now, Husqvarna are an absolutely huge company, but you may well be slightly more familiar with some of their sort of less cycling related products, shall we say, things like power tools, chainsaws, even sit-on lawnmowers. But they're here at the IAA Mobility Show showcasing all of their urban mobility products. So we've got their commuting bikes, mountain bikes, e-mountain bikes, and even products such as this. So this is the Vector e-moped. It has a maximum speed of 45 kilometers an hour, a range of 90 kilometers, but get this, it has a motor capable of producing 5,000 watts of power. I mean, that's nearly as powerful as Ollie Bridgewood himself. In addition to these, Husqvarna also have some really smart looking electric mountain bikes, and just over there I spotted an incredibly cool looking motorbike. But I picked out these two things, like the electric moped and the electric scooter, because it's the sort of things you're probably likely to come across in a busy city centre environment. Now, if you're not familiar with the format and a bit of history about the IAA show, let me just give you some stats about the last edition of the IAA Automobile Show back in 2019. There were 500,000 visitors, it had a digital reach of 500 million people, and there are thousands of different exhibitors. And it's the same approach this year, although, funnily enough, I can't count every single person that we've seen, so Hopefully we'll just have to rely on the stats that come from that. But to find out a little bit more about the bike aspect of the IAA Mobility Show, I took the time to speak to Bastian Dietz, who is the person responsible for bringing all of this cool bike stuff to the show this year.
So IAA was an automotive-only show. It is around almost 100 years. Was one of the biggest ones on a global scale. But so much happened over the last months and 1.5 years. But even before, the German Automotive Association already said, like, the future of mobility isn't only car-centric. COVID was a huge catalyst. What we saw in the inner city mobility behavior and the big boom of cycling, pop-up lanes, and the whole business, it was totally clear that cycling has to be a big part of this very future-oriented mobility show.
So in addition to all the super cool stuff inside, there's the test track outdoors where you can actually ride the latest innovations, bikes and equipment to make sure, well, you get to experience it firsthand. And if we take a walk over there, I'll show you something else which is pretty cool. Next to me here is something quite different to what I've ever seen before. We've got loads of cool little features, so many so in fact I'm not actually going to be able to go through the entire list of features, but it's called the Cycler Bike. And let me first tell you, it's a design and engineering collaboration between Porsche Digital and Storck bikes. It is an e-gravel bike. At the heart of the bike, we've got the Fazua battery and drive system, providing a 250 watt-hour battery and 250 watts of assistance. Now, possibly one of the most standout and striking features has to be its unique frame design. I mean, just look at the rear triangle of this bike. The way the seat stays come down to meet the chain stays is like something I've not quite ever seen before. We've got this kicked out section where the rear axle is attached. Now, I'm told there are two key reasons for this. Firstly, by moving the seat stays closer towards the bottom bracket, we increase the stiffness. Now, this was required for the assistance that is provided from the Fazua motor. And then the second advantage from this is that it adds more vertical compliance into the chainstays themselves to help increase the comfort of the rider when you're riding over rough terrain, which, let's face it, this gravel bike is primarily designed for. And at the front here, we've got a phone mount. Now, there is also a specially developed app to use with this bike, and I don't know if you can see at the front, tucked underneath the handlebars, we have a front-mounted camera, and at the rear, we have one tucked underneath the saddle. There are a couple of different reasons why you might want to have cameras on your bike. Firstly, well, it's just cool to video all the different places that you ride through, but if you're riding in an urban environment or a busy city environment, for example, then it serves as quite a good safety feature. You're able to toggle the display between the front or the rear camera as and when you like when you're riding along, and it will record the image directly to the camera reel on your phone. In addition to this, built into the app is a mapping feature enabling you to choose where you are, find out different routes you want to ride on, and there's also inbuilt commute navigation integrated into the app, so you haven't got to switch between different apps, and it enables you to load up your favourite routes wherever you are or find new ones to ride. Now, the carbon frame is obviously designed to encase the Fazua motor and battery system, but the neat thing about this is that it's actually removable. So the bike as it stands here with the motor and the battery weighs in at around 15 kilograms. However, if you remove the battery and that motor system, the bike weight reduces much closer down to 11 kilograms. Now, another one of the areas on this bike which Porsche Digital have worked on is this. So this section here is called the Smart Module, and it's located on the downtube here. Now, obviously on the bike you can barely see the silhouette of it, but let me just point out one little key feature, because here is an external antenna, and it also doubles as a cooling fin, because there's quite a lot of technical wizardry going inside this little module. Firstly, it has an inbuilt SIM card so that your phone can always be connected to your bike. It then broadcasts a Wi-Fi signal, again, so that you've got direct connectivity with your phone when you're out riding. And it also doubles up as a security device. So if you're to lock your bike up, keep it nice and secure, if the bike is moved for any reason, you'll get an alert sent directly to your smartphone wherever in the world you are, so that you know something is up with your bike. God, there are just so many cool things about this bike. And also, just to finish off, I actually particularly like the burnt orange colour. Yeah. check this out. It's the school X Lite Evo. It's got 20-inch wheels. We've got a dyno front hub. We've got a 7-speed shifter, super narrow handlebars, a 1x chainring setup, and we've even got lights. But joking aside, it is really important to remember that we're at an urban mobility show, and that applies for adults and kids alike. So here on the school stand, we've got minuscule teeny tiny bikes for teeny tiny children, and we've got some slightly larger bikes suitable for taller kids. And I think it's really important to sort of take note and remember that urban mobility is for everyone, kids and adults alike. Oh, check this out. So this is a new product from ABASS, and it's a smart folding lock. This is a bigger lock, not designed to be taken out on your bike. It's the sort of thing that you would use for home security, to try and keep your bike nice and safe in your garage, for example, or maybe in your shed. And it's called the Bordeaux 6500A Smart X. Now it's a folding lock, so it folds up to a very compact unit like this. But the super cool part is it's completely keyless. So the only key that you have to access this lock is through your smartphone. Now when you activate it and secure your bike, you need to secure it to an immovable object. And that is something like a ground anchor or something that you can't simply pick your bike up and walk off with it. There's a speaker that is activated inside this because it's got sensors. So if someone's to come up, move your bike, wobble it around, you're going to have an audible siren, hopefully to deter them. And the best part about having a keyless system is you haven't got a key to lose. You simply have your phone, deactivate the lock, and away you go. Bike security at home is something that many people often overlook, so it's really cool to see a product specifically designed to be used at home in your garage and not taken out on the bike. Now this is ABASS's most high security lock, so their range goes from 1 all the way up to 15, and this lock is rated a 15, designed to deter even the most resilient of thieves. Now as you can imagine, I already have nearly every product muck-off manufacturer, but something I don't have are these deep scrubber gloves. These look incredible. How have I not ended up with a set of these? Designed to keep your hands super clean when you're washing your bike, but also they've got this slightly sort of funky, slightly freaky textured surface underneath to help get your bike super clean and, well, make the job a dream. Happy days. So I've picked out the lightest, the cheapest, and the most eco-friendly car that I could find at the IAA Mobility Show. Here it is. Sure, it might be a toy Lego car, but I think you'll agree it is actually pretty unique and pretty cool. And here you can drive them around and have a little bit of fun. And I've got a super cool, interesting fact for you now, because Lego are in fact the largest manufacturer of car tyres in the world. Well, mostly down to the fact they produce teeny tiny little car rubber tyres like this, and they do in fact produce 306 million tyres a year. So hopefully that's a cool little fact you can impress all of your friends with. At least all 3 of them anyway. Check out this car. It's a Mercedes and it's a special limited edition designed by Mansory. So every single panel of the bodywork is carbon fibre. We got carbon fibre doors, side skirts, wings, bonnet, roof, wing mirrors, fuel flap. We've got every single carbon fibre part, although we don't have carbon fibre wheels. This could basically be Ollie's dream car. This is a Generation 2 Formula E car. Now for those of you who are maybe not so familiar with that, means it has just an electric motor and a battery pack to drive it forwards. Now the interesting thing here is that the motor is made by Marley, so a brand which you may well be familiar with because they manufacture e-bike hub drive motors, which is quite cool, isn't it? But this has obviously got far more power than anything we could ever imagine on our bikes. So we look at some of the stats here. We've got a 250 kilowatt motor, we've got a 52 kilowatt hour battery, and it weighs just 900 kilograms. And according to the stat sheet here, we can do 0 to 100 kilometers in just 2.8 seconds. So to put that into some sort of context relative to our bikes, most rear hub drive motors are 250 watts only, so 1,000 times less powerful than the Formula E car. And a 250 kilowatt hour battery is relatively small compared to the power that the motor develops, but that means the key thing to do with Formula E is all about regenerative braking to try to recoup as much energy as possible to save it for later on in the race. I love technology like this. Hope you enjoyed taking a closer look at all of the latest tech and innovations at the IAA Mobility Show. I know I've certainly enjoyed it, and fingers crossed we get to come back next year. Let me know in the comments section down below which bit of tech was your favourite, and well, we're just going to enjoy our view of Munich from all the way up here. See ya. Bye. Bloomin' hell, we are very high. This is a lot higher than I'd expected, and when we were down on ground level, I thought I was much braver than I am. However, they have stopped the giant wheel at the highest point. Although we do have a lovely view of Munich.